Welcome to episode 25 of the Be More podcast, and today I'm joined by a guest who I went to university with a long time ago. Well, 5 years ago we finished university now, and in that time, I think at uni, put it this way, we spoke more on Skype yesterday than we have in 3 years at uni and in 5 years since. And I bumped into the guy just over 2 years ago now, and he came up to me outside the gym. He was like, "All right, Jack, how you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, good, mate. How are you?" "Not so good, mate. I've got a brain tumour, and it's all going wrong for me." And I was just like, "Wow." And 2 years have flown by, and now he's on the podcast. His story is incredible. Be ready to get a lot of goosebumps all over your body, because this guy's got an incredible message to spread. And he's gone through a hell of a lot, and where he is now is massive inspiration to every single person listening to this. No matter what kind of hole you're in, there's definitely a way out, and this guy is evidence of that. So, yeah, here it is, guys. Without further ado, episode 25 of the Be More podcast. This is the Be More podcast. I am your host, Jack Williams, and this is a show all about health, nutrition, mindset, and performing at our very best. And this is going to be your catalyst to being more. What I will do is we'll start with 1 minute, mate. Can you sum up your life so far? So we're going to introduce you first. This is the big man,
okay.
Chris Tierney. We were good friends at university, and I can see how excited you are. Give the listeners of the Be More podcast a 1 minute overview of your life so far.
Oh shit. Okay.
If it does take a little longer, it's fine. But yeah, 1 minute.
I'll try my best.
No pressure, mate. Go.
Oh, you want to go now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 29. I grew up in Wolverhampton. I was one of the biggest kids in school at the time, I'd say. Probably the third biggest. And I went from being a really bad athlete to a really good athlete, and it was just generally to the people that I hung around with. I eventually managed to play professional football before I got to uni, but got injured. I started up my own business when I was 16 years old, a voluntary business where we use sport to tackle gang crime. And then after that, it's like, well, with the skills I've got, what can I do? Thought I'd be a teacher. So went to uni, where I met you, obviously. Left uni, became a teacher for a little while. Then, unfortunately, I got a brain tumour. Then recovered from that, but it was really bad side effects, which I'm sure we'll go into during the rest of the podcast. And then post that, it was more like thinking of things that I really want to do, because it just put that pressure on my mind and wanting to get the things out of life that I really want. And then I'm in Sydney, speaking to you from here, and loving life again. Yeah,
mate, I've got goosebumps. So,
you got goosebumps.
I've got goosebumps. Yeah. So we went to uni together, obviously, and then I saw you randomly outside the gym that I work in. What was that, last year or the year before that?
Two years ago. Yeah.
So that was before I even
2
went.
years ago.
That was before I even went to Australia. So I bumped into you, and you were like, "How you doing, mate?" And I was being my normal self, rushing around everywhere, and you were like, "Yeah, I've got a fucking brain tumour."
Yeah, but it's one of those things. When I first admitted it to my friends, like I got them in a group, and I was sort of laughing about it nervously, because it's like, how do you tell people like about it?
Let's go back to the beginning. So obviously, we both finished university, got our degree, and then you decided to then go and teach, and you actually used the degree we got, whereas I just went off and did personal training straight away.
Yeah, but depending which way you look at it, it's turned out very well for you, hasn't it? So.
Well, you're doing all right, mate. Well, sounds a bit, you're PT in Sydney, but you went and made most of the degree, so you went and taught. Then what happened?
So obviously I went and taught, doing very well, but I think the industry itself, although teaching is a great profession, the industry is not in a great way at the minute. And, if you just look at society itself, there's so many kids, especially looking at it from a health and physical side, from our point of view, there's still so many obese and we're not just talking physically as well either. It's mentally. There's not enough being done for our youth of the nation, and how they're going to cope with the demands of this ever-evolving environment that we're in at the moment. And to me, I can't teach in what I don't believe in, and the system's just broken. It's absolutely broken. So for me, as we've talked about before, I'm going to set up some future projects trying to sort of tackle that for sure. But anyway, it was just started that it was about a year into my teaching, and I was doing CrossFit at the time, funnily enough. And how I first noticed it was that I was carrying this yoke across my back, and I thought I'd impinged like a nerve, got a trapped nerve from carrying the yoke. So went to the doctors. They presumed obviously it was that. Put on some diazepam, which is a muscle relaxant, but then obviously this didn't go. So I'd carry on teaching, obviously, but I get this shooting pain, and it only happened for about 10 seconds. But when it happened, my eyesight would also go fuzzy. It was just like, and then stop. I think, right, okay, it's just down to the trapped nerve. But then after a little while, quite a quick time, within a week or 2 weeks, that happened again, and then my eyesight didn't go back to normal. And then eventually it just deteriorated till I was pretty much blind. I also, prior to that, was losing coordination, because where it's based was just at the bottom, where it affects your eyesight and your coordination. So I couldn't walk in a straight line. Couldn't catch a ball, which is obviously what you need for being a PE teacher or anything within sport. So it was a tough time, because it was just that it was unexpected. Obviously, I was so shocked when I was initially told. The school that I was at was in Portsmouth, so I was at Portsmouth Hospital, funnily enough. And I was just there by myself, had no family around me because they were all up in Birmingham. And it's just like, what do you do? And obviously you're not told what kind of tumour you've got to start with until they can get it out and diagnose it. But you have obviously that thought going in your mind that that's it, I'm going to die. That was the initial thought. So yeah, it was a tough one to deal with at the time. It's just one of those. It's that, okay, it's here, it's happened. Where can we go from this? I was fortunate enough where I had the operation and I managed to get all the tumour out. And it was only a grade 1 tumour. But the most life-threatening part of the situation was that it blocks the brain fluid, obviously going around my brain. And above, it had caused a cyst, which was putting pressure on the bottom part, like the cerebellum, the part for your coordination. And if that cyst had popped, then that'd been it. I wouldn't have been here today, pretty much. So that was more the extreme part of it. But hey ho, here we are.
So that's just, well, I've got so many questions. Let's just start with, where do I start? So you were getting a bit dizzy and you were having these pains. So you went to hospital and or went to a doctor. What did you say? You explained what was going on, and they told you. Yeah,
explain. And initially, it was because it happened over a little while. Sorry, I probably missed out loads of it, so I'm sort of just rapping through it. So it continued, obviously. So I went back to the doctors, and actually, it was after New Year, and I was in London, and obviously just gone past New Year, so I was pretty drunk, and got up in the morning. And I was like, oh, lads, I can't see nothing. And they're just like, you're just still smashed from last night kind of thing. I was like, nah, I've been having these issues at the minute. I think it's this. So it was in Clapham, and I've literally gone to the shopping centre. It must have been the second or whatever, because it's when the shops were really back open. And I've gone to Specsavers to go and get my eyes tested. Booked it there and then that day. And I was walking through the shopping centre, and that was one of the most scary situations, because I couldn't walk in a straight line, for one, and you've got these people coming at you, and I could hardly see. So it's just like I had no spatial awareness. So I ended up just grabbing the wall next to me and following the wall into Specsavers. And there I saw a guy, great guy, and he looked into my eye and he saw some inflammation. But he did say I could have had that all my life, and it just does nothing. But we're going to get you to go back to your doctor. Anyway, I wrote this letter and sealed it, so I couldn't read it. So, that sparked alarms in my mind a bit. Anyway, took that letter back to the doctor as soon as I got to Portsmouth. He read it and he got on the phone. He's like, "You're going for a scan now. You're going straight to hospital now." So that was it. Went straight to the hospital. Had a CAT scan to start with. And then they said, "Oh, we're going to put you in for a MRI scan now." And then that's, again, I was like, "Oh, right, well, something's wrong here." But still, this was like far away from my mind of what it would be. Then had an MRI scan, and then, then I was told after that I've got a brain tumour, yeah.
And did you obviously ask how extreme it was, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, it's because I was obviously in a big fluster of panic at the time, and I was asking all these questions, but they obviously had no answers. I saw the photos. I was like, "Can I see the scans?" So they showed me through it and pointed out, but they were like, they don't know what type it is. They don't know how aggressive it is. Like, it could have been growing millimeters at a time over years, or it could have just come within like the past week or so. So there was no telling what it was until it was actually removed. Yeah.
And how long was that process of having an operation?
The actual operation itself took 9 hours because of where it was. It's basically the base of your spine to your brain. So obviously all your big nerves are running through, connect to your body, allow you to move everything. So the contract I had to sign to be able to have it was at least 10 pages long. And it was just a case of saying, if this happens, you can't sue us. It's what could happen, because it was either have it done or you're eventually going to die anyway, right?
So from when you left that scan and were told you had a brain tumour, how long did you then have to wait until the operation?
From that, it was about a month, something like that, yeah. I had it out on the 23rd of February 2 years ago.
And
I still remember that day.
What was going through your mind?
I think it goes through phases, in that I was like, this is almost it. You have to have this time to say, right, stop your worrying about it. This is what it is. You can't. These things are out of your control. But what can you do about it? And eventually, I went away and read everything that I could find out about anything I could do to improve my health at that time. Looking at cancer-related diets. It could be down to one reason. It could be down to nothing at all. There's still no definition of how it got there. It's just the way it is in the world at this moment in time. But yeah, as I say, it went through sort of a phase where it's just almost like a grieving system to a certain extent. But it's just, you just don't want to be trapped in that first phase too long, because it's just going to eat you away. And I mean, I was on this medication, like a steroid to stop the inflammation, and that just ballooned me up. So I went from something like 12 stone to 16 stone. I was absolutely huge. So obviously my health had gone out the window, and then shortly after the operation, I was at the time in a relationship for 6.5 years with my ex-partner. And then that broke up. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure to this day, but it could be down to the stress of that.
Were you living together when you had
We weren't, no, because I was in Portsmouth at the time and she was working for the BBC at that time. That was in Wales. So we're a bit apart, but we're obviously planning to make the jump so that we would live together pretty soon. In fact, she was also meant to be coming to Australia with me the first time I came at the start of last year. So, and the plan was to propose to her as well just before I left to come. So it was that period in time. That was definitely the sort of the lowest point in my life for sure.
So wait. So you had a brain tumour and your ex-girlfriend broke up with you?
Correct. Yeah.
Before you had the operation done?
Just after, yeah.
Fuck.
I know, like, because it can be misconstrued in that, it was just a girlfriend, but it wasn't. We were together for 6.5 years. We went through all of university together. So obviously we had that distance apart. We had the closest as well when we were at home. We'd gone through so much together, and then it was just like, whew, gone.
And you were going to propose to this girl as well?
I absolutely was, yeah. Yeah.
Right, okay. So your headspace at this moment probably wasn't at the greatest, but then you had your operation and you were all cleared from that moment, or were there further tests?
Luckily, I needed. There was further tests, but it was just the fact of having a scan to see what was left in there. But luckily, they managed to get it all out. And the tumour is called a polyglastomytoma, something like that. Excuse it if that's wrong. But luckily, it was one where it wouldn't spread. But if it does come back, it will come back in the same place. But then the issue with that is the area that it's in is very tricky, which was shown because post the operation, my vocal cords were paralysed. So I had to relearn to talk again. And then also my coordination is not, it came back some, but it's just not as good as it was before, especially when being a PE teacher. You need to be pretty reactive and have good coordination to do demonstrations and whatnot. But luckily it's got better and better, and now I'm 90, 98% there. But I don't think it'll ever be quite as perfect as it was, so to say.
So as obviously you're like an athlete, ex-pro footballer, very good at sport, how did it feel to not, and obviously the breakup and the brain tumour was obviously demoralising for you, but how did it feel to not be able to do anything? Because obviously that was just like, did you just feel helpless? What was the hardest bit for you? Because that for me would scare me a lot.
It was the conundrum of all emotions and the unknown of what's going on in my life, in terms of, the relationship had ended at the time during the operation and waiting for the retests, not knowing how I'm going to commence forward with my life. In terms of physically, obviously, I got very overweight because of the medication that I was on. So mentally, physically, emotionally, I was just on a parallel universe.
And you were off work as well, so you were at home and in your thoughts all the time, is that right?
I was off work at the time, so I went back home, luckily, so I could be looked after because I couldn't move so well. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there.
So you've gone home and you've gained all this weight. Your girlfriend's just broken up with you.
Yeah.
You're getting your skills back. They're coming back slowly. You're waiting for the test to hear back about the tumour.
Yeah. And then it's just there. It's like, I've always been a go-getter of things. Like, I came to university late when I met you. I'm obviously older than you. I'm 29 now.
You old git.
I think. Pardon? you old git. I know. Yeah. Nearly 30 as well, mate. In August, 30. Jesus, it's coming around quick.
You don't look it, mate. You're looking great.
I know, baby face. Just keeping me in the game. So there was that part, it really gives you that spark into, say, for example, Australia. This was always on the cards, but instead of waiting for it, I'm making things happen now. Then I'm not hanging around. I'm seizing things at the moment now. I don't wait. I put myself in situations where I really challenge myself rather than waiting for them to come to me. I'm just more hungry for life and what it's got to offer to me. And I'd say I was like that, but that urgency wasn't there before. It's just really honed in on that, and it's opened up my mind a lot to also the way that I perceive the world, I guess, and my position within it, and what impact that I can have on others. And it's just that awareness that I have now is completely changed my ethos towards life and my own potential as well of what that I can do in it. I mean, it stemmed from there. It doesn't mean that it just happened overnight, but it's been a slow process.
Of course.
But
I'd love to go into that process, but it seems like almost, this is going to sound really bad to say, but like it seems like having a brain tumour and having your girlfriend leave you in probably the hardest time in your life was the best thing that's happened to you. Because now you're like, because obviously you were a go-getter anyway, but now you're a go-getter times 10. You're hungrier. You've seen you're more self-aware. It seems like I feel like inspired by your direction you're going in, and I think it's like that was the catalyst almost. It was like the wake-up call to get you out of teaching in a job that didn't really fulfill you because of the demands of the system and how it was wrong. And now all of a sudden you're living in Sydney with a new girlfriend. You just showed me the view of your apartment. It looks ridiculous. You can see the Harbour Bridge, and you're now doing a job that makes you feel more fulfilled. You've got like goals to go and make real impact in the world. I know it's a hard thing to probably contemplate, but it does seem like it's been like the wake up call for you. Would you say like you're grateful for it or not?
100%. I think it's just honed down. Like it's brought me really down to earth and really appreciate the smaller things in life. Like, for example, every time I walk outside on the balcony, which I showed you earlier, like I just get that feeling of I'm here. Like I'm here at this point because of the decisions that I've made. I wanted to be here, and I've got this, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it. Like there's nobody as well that I can say in my life that has influenced this, has helped me in any way. I'm a big believer in whatever you've done, wherever you come from, you can change whatever position that you're in, and you can get to where you want with enough hard work, consistency, and desire, basically.
Mate, I'm literally goosebumped head to toe.
It is, because I never saw myself in this position in a million years at all. And in fact, the reason why I'm here is because I found an old bucket list that I wrote when I was 14. And I did everything on it except for there's one, I own a beachside house in Australia. So I was like, well, why the hell not, man? Let's get that done. So off I went. I've just come out here, started my own business, just come out here by myself, and doing very well now.
Mate, I'm so happy for you. So let's go back and your girlfriend broke up with you. You were getting your skills back, so you left your teaching job. You were thinking, right, Australia, I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to go build another life somewhere else. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, I mean, it was on the cards anyway, as I said, but it just brought the urgency towards it. And I think it helped in a big way because it was like the separation from that other life that I had. And, it's almost like this is me now, that was me then. Because I was around the same people, doing the same things, accepting life for what it was. And I just needed this fresh outlook at that moment in time. And also it's something that I really wanted. And also not knowing what still could happen in the future to me. It's like you've just got to grab everything with both hands at the time that you've got. If you've got a nice day, go outside and enjoy it, because you don't get them that often in the UK.
Not wrong. So you almost just had like a massive sense of like freedom.
In a sense, yeah. I mean, I've always been a person that does what they want anyway. I'm almost like, if I've got a belief, I'm going to hone down on that, and I'm just going to give it all I can to get there. I know I've got the mental discipline to do that. But here, I'm in an environment that supports that, I feel, where back at home, I wasn't. I was surrounded by people, although great friends. It was just that they couldn't see the bigger picture, the holistic picture of life, and what they wanted, whether we're going that hunger to achieve everything that they want. And I know it's hard to say, and I'm sorry to say, but it holds you back.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm still great friends with all my friends there now, but it's just that here I feel like I'm sprinting to everything I want. Where there, I'm just coasting, accepting this job for what it is, that I'm going to be working 9 to 5, going home, cook, kiss the wife, the girlfriend, good night, go to sleep, everything like that. Where here, I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm training, working, planning, and the thing is, for me, I don't plan too far ahead. I've got some goals, but it's just day by day, getting that little bit better day by day, because you never know whether you'll be here tomorrow. So just do what you can for yourself, and then if you can, help others. That's my philosophy for sure.
I love your philosophy, big time. Have you always thought like this? Because at uni, I'll give people some context. Like, I was very different to how I am now, right? So I didn't really...
100%, mate. We should do a podcast on you. I'll question you.
We probably
Put
should.
you in the black chair.
Are you in the black chair?
Because we should, mate, because you've changed considerably.
Yeah,
I mean, massively.
Like,
yeah.
I obviously said hello to you at university. We played football a little bit, but like I didn't really have a conversation with you. Well, this is the longest conversation I've ever had with you.
But the thing that,
for 3 years, right? So that's mad, isn't it?
But the thing is, the reason why we're doing this now is because the person that you are, you're giving that time, you're finding like you want to find out about these stories because they're inspiring. They're going to help other people. Where back then, maybe it's just the timing, it just wasn't your time back then, or the fact that now you found your niche, you know what you're doing, you've got that hunger, and now you're so intrigued by human behavior and fitness, helping people, the mindset, and how powerful fitness is a tool for that.
Well said. I think that's important to, definitely, because I think if people are listening, they're a little bit younger, and they're almost thinking, this stuff seems a little bit like, I don't know, hard to understand. I think I never used to understand it, so I think it's definitely a journey that you go on, and definitely a journey that you're on as well, but I didn't know if you felt like always had this driven mindset even when you were younger. I think I had it in me, but never at this level. I think it just grows, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I think because obviously we're put in a society where we need to learn the fundamentals for us to then go out and be part of that society, whether that be, reading, maths, science, all that. But then you're told at a young age that you need to make a decision quite quickly that's going to impact the rest of your life and a career. Hence, say, teaching, for example. So I've gone to university for 4 years to do a job that I believed was right for me. but it may or may not have been, but the industry wasn't right anyway. So then it's like, how do you look at that? Is that a case of, have I failed? Is it the industry? Like, you can question yourself which way it is, but then it's also the fact you've done 4 years. Was that a waste of time? What are you doing now? And I'm a big believer that people should not jump straight into university. They should go out, maybe even travel a bit, go and really experience life, really find what their passion is, what they enjoy, get that career that's going to make them happy and fulfilled. Don't worry about the money, because the money will come with that. If you're enjoying it and happy, you will be the best and succeed in whatever you do if you've got that behind you. But unfortunately, due to how we programmed through the media and how we've evolved through society, it's just that I think we feel that we're limited, but we're not. We've got such a vast array of opportunities that we can do. You just need to go out there and do what needs to be done to get where you need to be.
I couldn't agree with you more. The opportunities now are so huge, but I went down the path of left school, college 2 years, uni 3 years. I did all of that, and I reckon in 3 years at university, what did it cost me? 20 grand to go to university.
Yeah.
I learnt more in 3 months travelling 4 years later in a trip that cost me a lot less than 3 years at university. How mad is that?
Yeah.
Because
it's crazy.
It helped me to become more self-aware, which is way more important. So then I can live my life in alignment to what I want to do versus what the system's created for us, which obviously we're in agreement with, we don't like. Yeah,
exactly. But then it's one of those, it's hindsight, is that if you hadn't gone to university, would you be in that position where you would have gone travelling? Would you have been sucked into another?
I have no regrets of any of it. I would just say the best education you can do is within yourself and not on a topic, and it's it's on self-awareness. Then you can kind of, you're going to be able to put more into something that you care about versus doing a degree or a job or a career that doesn't support you and fulfill you.
100%. I mean, take teaching for an example. You can spend as many times studying about all the different learning and behaviour theories, but until you're actually out there doing it and putting in the application, it's a completely different world. PTing,
yeah. Mate,
you'll soon get found out if you're just one of these that turn up, does the course, and then jumps in a gym. You need to be reading every day.
Literally every day. I can't explain to you, people doing a PT course, it's not relevant at all, is it?
No, nowhere near.
It's just learning to drive a car almost. You learn to drive a car, you don't actually learn until you're out on the road and you're like, oh my God, I've actually got a licence now, I've actually got to learn how to be a human on the road. And PT's like that times 28 with everyone's on fire around you and you've got to try and put all that.
Exactly.
It's so different to the course itself. So let's go back to, we keep going back. You're in Birmingham now, and you book a.
I'm in Sydney now, mate.
No, but you was in Birmingham. We'll go back to Birmingham. I know you are. You just showed me. I'm really jealous. You book a one-way flight to Sydney. Is that right?
Actually, the first year I was in Melbourne, so I stayed in Melbourne and travelled up and down, and then now I'm positioned solidly in Sydney for the foreseeable future.
So you did book a one-way ticket to Australia and was like, see you later?
100%, yeah.
And you had a bit of savings and travelled for a bit, or did you get into work straight away?
In fact, I did it literally the day, or was it 2 days after I quit my job, bought the ticket there and then went.
How much longer? For a week later, or?
I think it was 2 days after. Literally 2 days after. You
left 2 days after you booked it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And then
there's no point hanging around. It's like, I wasn't happy in the position. Why stay in the same position that is not making you happy and you're just being miserable and everybody else can see it? Nobody wants to be around you because you're making them miserable. Just life doesn't seem that joyful. And it's just, if you're in that situation, change it. So
you're not a tree, move. That's what I tell everyone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't stand still and wait for something to change for you. Make it happen.
Boom. So you were 16 stone and you're getting a flight to Australia. Is that right?
I luckily lost the weight just before I got to Australia. So because I went back into teaching after I had my surgery. I was meant to take a year off, but I actually went back into teaching within about 3 months because I was just that driven. I didn't want to stay bedbound. And I really thought teaching was going to be the one for me because I wasn't enjoying it previously, but I thought, oh, maybe it's down to the brain tumour and the effects that was having. But I went back and nothing had changed even post the brain tumour. And I was like, this is just not right for me. So I quit and then left, yeah.
Nice. And then travelled for a year on savings or?
Yeah, so luckily I had quite a bit of savings. The first year I did work a little bit, but it was just like in retail, just little jobs here and there. Did farm work, obviously, for the second year visa. But it was a good time because it's stress free. It gives you that freedom, which we talked about earlier. And also, I just met so many great people that are like-minded. They're going out there. They want to see the world. They're intrigued by everything that it has to offer. And that's inspiring in itself. That helped, that's another part of the cog that helped me flip my mind frame around from that sour patch to then, right, going to Australia. I've met these people. I've now got an environment that supports like some of the things I enjoy and that I want. And then it's just grown and grown from there to where I'm at a point where I'm doing everything that I want, whenever I want, with the people I love and that I support and that they support me. And I'm able to help many other people whilst doing it as well. So it's awesome.
Mate, incredible. So the experiences you were having in that first year and the friends you were making and people you were meeting, that was like accumulating to build your mindset, build your confidence, build your hunger, build your drive.
100%.
Then you went, do you know what, I'm going to go base myself in Sydney. So you travelled the whole of Australia first? East
Coast, haven't done West Coast, but East Coast, yeah. So West Coast is on the card.
So. A similar time to when I was doing it? When did you do that last year?
I think you were here while I was here, but I was in Melbourne at the time, and you were in.
So yeah.
Where was I?
I did a few days in Melbourne.
I might have been. Yeah, I think. I'm not sure. Did I message you? I think I did message you, didn't I? But you said you were only there for 2 days, and you couldn't meet me. I think.
Yeah, and then we was in Sydney, and then we worked our way up to the East Coast. But I met Mark, then I met Mark again. Obviously, did you see much?
Yeah, Mark? I've seen Mark once. I saw him in a pub. The little bugger.
Shock.
And then
he's always drinking.
Yeah.
But he's also doing really well, and he was at uni doing a sports degree. Now he's working.
Exactly. But he's one of those guys where I saw his Facebook and I was just like, that guy, man, he's living the life.
Yeah.
But I actually spoke to him about all this stuff in the pub, and it's like, I've got to stop saying like as well.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast, guys, but just a quick heads up. You will hear a little bit of a fuzzy noise from this part in the podcast. Basically, it started hammering down on the conservatory roof, and I didn't think it would affect the podcast that much, but it apparently did. So next time it starts raining, I will move into an area where there's no background noise. But yeah, as always, thank you for listening, guys, and I hope you're enjoying the episode.
It was his decision to jump on that plane and make that change, and that's all it is.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast because his mindset's powerful. We did a few long walks when I was in Sydney just in January, and I love that man. He's the kind of person you want to be around because he's so positive. He's like yourself, he's a go-getter, and he was like, I'm just going to go and do it. And 5 years later in Sydney, he's now doing very well for himself. Have you seen where he lives?
In Manly. I haven't seen his pad yet, no. But obviously it's the prime time place.
On the beach, like yay high apartment, views over us ridiculous. He's living the dream, but he went and made it happen. Like he created it all himself. Like he was working as a football coach here, working all the hours under the sun, didn't really get much fulfillment out of it. And thought, I'm going to go and do this out there, and just built this opportunities for himself. Which is what you're doing. Yeah,
he was one of the people where it's just like, I wish I could be like him.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that great lifestyle. He's out there surfing and experiencing all these different activities, adventures, loving life. And, you know, I can tell him right now, and I did tell him, he was one of the inspirations that, like,
Oh, absolutely.
would have pushed me out here, because he's a go-getter.
Even at university, I think you could tell that he was almost like, mindset-wise, a set apart from everyone else a little bit, wasn't he?
He was a little, because he went, you know, he's going to all these festivals abroad. He worked for that holiday camp.
Yeah, like he was just really adventurous. I know he's a little older than me. I think he might be your age, but he was like much more of an outlier. Like, I recognised him. I was like, he's cool. He's going to go and do bits. And now, so you could tell. Whereas with me and yourself, we were a little bit more reserved, but now we seem to be
100%.
The cat's out
but
of the bag now. And
I think that's what's changed with us, though, is that we may have had these mindsets, but we just didn't have that confidence and that assertiveness to follow through, and that's
definitely
what we've got as we've got older and we've educated ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
And we understand the world a bit more. I think that's what's happened with us. Where he had that confidence.
Yeah, confidence just builds, isn't it? It's like it's the slowest thing ever, and that you got to be super patient. Like if you're waking up and you don't feel confident, like no one else does either. It just builds day by day. When you action the things that you know are taking you forward towards the things that you want in your life.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important to understand. Like, it isn't this instant thing, which is why obviously I want to put these podcasts out every single week with different people like yourself, who is like there to inspire people to then explain your story and how you've had like these horrible bad times, and that you can build up through them. If no one's had times as bad as yourself, they're like, that gives me a lot of perspective. I've got things good here. I've got to build on it, you know?
Yeah. I think, I mean, people can perceive it in different ways. They could see, I don't know, you know, the death of a pet hamster as being a heartbreak, right? And which, fair enough, it is. But then there's also the extremes of it, and it's not really what's happened; it's the way that you manage it, and it's those tools that you gain that are going to really separate you and what you can achieve from what you want. Yeah, I think if people can voluntarily put themselves in situations that will challenge them, that they will go a long way in broadening their horizons and just thinking, oh, I can do that. I can achieve that. Like with fitness, how you see one of your transformations, they wouldn't have thought that they could be in that position, but it's just like these little things. Okay, we're going to change your diet, your nutrition, this little amount that's going to have such a big impact. And that's all it is. It's just a process of just adding these bricks in for you to then have this wall at the end of the day. Big, strong foundation that's going to help you build up and up and up and go from strength to strength.
And I think it's almost like that realisation that I've definitely had, and I know you've had too, that we're in control of our own destiny. There's only one person who can control where we're going.
100.
And like the decisions we make every day, we're making them. They're choices that we decide to make. So it's like, have the principles and have the standards in place for yourself, and then just go and make it happen.
Yes. I couldn't have put that better myself, actually. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir.
You cunning wordsmith, you.
Have you is there any books that you could recommend to everyone listening that you've read that have given you like massive insight, or are you a reader?
I am, but when I read, like, I read to learn, so it's mainly like I'm huge on obviously anatomy, physiology, biomechanics. I am knee deep in all that stuff. But in terms of mindset, I think most of it has come through life experiences.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, it's just like, I mean, at the moment I'm reading Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life.
I've got that on Audible. I haven't started it yet though. Is it good?
So far, so good. I mean, you've got to take some things with a pinch of salt, because it's all come from current theories and past theories, and how this all is applicable now to our current society. But then with our trains of thoughts, in that we have this control, it sort of rubs up against that a little bit, because it's saying to be successful, you need to be these people. But then you also look at it in the way that he writes it, and the person you've got to be. We are those sort of people now. So maybe it does work. I don't know. Once you read it, you'll see. I don't want to give it away for people. So, but
no.
I've highly
heard really good
recommend it.
things. I've heard really good things. Like,
Yeah.
with regards to like mindset books that you have read, what would be the one that stands out to you that is the most life changing?
Ooh.
By the way, can you hear the rain or not?
Has it just started? It's
Yeah.
suddenly just like
It's just
rippled
It's
down.
on my conservatory and, well, my dad's conservatory. I've had to go to my dad's house to get this because I've got no Wi-Fi at my new house yet, my new flat. So
Hey, your new pad looks nice though, mate. By the way,
it is nice.
Congrats
It's
on
nice,
that.
but now I've seen yours, I'm not happy.
15th floor.
Constantly
Great.
comparing yourself to others, aren't we? That's the problem we've got. I was feeling really good about myself. Everyone was saying, "Oh, your new place looks really nice, Jack. The views over the seafront." Gets on a slope with you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm on the 15th floor in Sydney on the beachfront." I'm like, and then you show me, "Oh, you have to show me that view tomorrow. Send me a picture tomorrow when it's like sunny."
Yeah. Well, we'll get you here soon enough, mate. Don't worry about that. We'll get you here.
Well, yeah. Best book.
Best book. I really like for practical use. Tony Robbins. 1 second, I'll just grab the book and then I'll tell you the title. Right, Tony Robbins, Unlimited Power.
Nice.
There you go, the big man himself. I think he's got a lot of practical tips in there because it really talks about almost scientific principles, what actually have been proven to work that can help you in terms of like neuro-linguistic programming, which has been around for years and years, really. But it's just many tips that you can use practically in life, simply and easily, that could have a big impact, I'd say. So I think that's a real good one, big one.
That's your best book. Legend.
Definitely. But I mean, there's other things like Tim Ferriss's books I really love. He's got great tips, but I think they're more for productivity rather than mindset, although it does look into like, you know, big entrepreneurs and big successful people's mindsets, but they're usually tips on the productivity that they have within their business rather than the mindset, I think, more so. So Tony Robbins for sure. Good shit. And he's well known, isn't he? So everybody knows he can do the business.
So with regards to self-development, we're going to go into that real quick, then talk about what you're actually doing now work-wise. So self-development-wise, is there like a daily thing that you have in place to work on you, or do you meditate? Like what's the score with you?
In fact, I'm just starting really with more the morning rituals. I think that's huge. The way I see it is that I give myself this minimal amount of structure in the morning to give myself the freedom the rest of the day. So whether it be some sort of planning, reading, working out, doing things that are going to allow me to be successful for the rest of the day and be more productive and help other people. So I'll get up probably about 4. I'll go to the gym, work out. And usually this workout, I'll have like a couple of strength exercises, but then I do something it'll be off the top of my head, but I will push my body to the extremes, because if I do something really hard, it's just going to make me feel that the rest of the day is super easy. Also, it brings up mental alertness, and it just makes me feel great for the rest of the day. So what better reason to do than that? Then I'll come home, have a shower, have some food, and then I'll usually spend about half an hour reading. Obviously, as I said, I'm a big fitness freak in terms of reading about biomechanics and all that. So I'm reading a lot of stuff on Stuart McGill at the minute, and looking at the back mechanics and dealing with people with spinal injuries. Then after that, I'll do usually. I have I'll call it like a little reflective time, and it'll be usually with a coffee, and I'll just sit out on the balcony, which I showed you, and then I'll just think. It's more of like an appreciation for the little things. I mean, I don't write them down, but I probably should start to.
Just like a bit of gratitude almost.
Yeah. a bit of gratitude and just being thankful for some of the things that I've got, that I've done, and even some of the experiences that I've hated, because from that it's made me the person that I am today. So it's always looking at how I've developed and then how I'm going to continue to develop today, or help somebody else continue to develop, what impact that I can have. Then from that, usually my day is pretty full on. I'm either writing plans, training clients. Also, I've got a few projects coming up that I told you about. I'm just getting into the social media side of things, so I'm learning all about that. And it'll pretty much be full on until about 7 of the night. And then from there, I just relax, really, to be honest. I think I need to have that time to shut my mind down before I can sleep, or else I'm just one of those that will just stay up all night. And I'm a big proponent for quality of sleep and how that actually affects the quality of life as well. So try and get those 7 hours, people, including you, Jack. I know you haven't been getting your 7 hours, mate.
I've been doing some reading on it, and I'm trying my best actually to prioritise it now.
It's a huge thing, man. It's huge.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you haven't mentioned yet you're a personal trainer now. Obviously.
Have I not? Sorry. Yeah,
you are now a personal trainer.
I literally as well did the course, because I asked you for recommendations on what course I should do, and you said they're all not very good. Put it in the nice terms.
Is that what I
said? Just pick one and get it done, because obviously the learning all comes after, and obviously you were really right.
How long ago was that?
Just 2.5 years ago, something like that, maybe.
When you was in Australia, or when you were still here?
Just before, because I came out of the mindset of that. I've always been passionate about this. Why don't I do it? I think previously I just saw it as personal trainers can't be that successful in terms of what I wanted from life, like, good holidays, this freedom, making, good money. And I don't know, I don't think I ever saw many personal trainers being able to achieve that. Maybe I was naive to the system at that time. Although I was fascinated by fitness. I think, was it in university where it was you that was asking me loads of questions when it was on about fitness training for rock climbers? Do you remember that? I'm pretty sure you was asking me loads.
I do ask a lot of questions. I've
yeah,
always
but obviously
been that kind of
you
person.
were interested about it all. There was John Kelly was in there as well, obviously being into all that sort of stuff. And you guys were asking me loads of questions just because I was fascinated by that. I mean, it just marvels me that we as a species are perfectly designed to like interact with our environment. And not only that, we can think for ourselves. There's no other species that we know of that we can do it. And to me, it baffles me. So it's why I need to know more about the body and us and our behaviours and why we're even here. It amazes me, for sure. But yeah, going back to where I did it. So I came out with the mindset that this is what I'm going to do. So I did the course, came out here. I was like, yes, I'm doing it. Although I got caught up with the travel bug. So then I travelled for the first year, but I have done it now. Obviously, we've come in here the second year. But then along the way, what I would do is that I would actually go to different PTs and just shadow them, work with them, find out their ethoses, why they think this way, why they're training clients this way. I'd go to chiropractors, I'd go to physios, and I'd just separate different days. I'd spend like 2 days out of my week, and I'd just stay with them the whole day. Learn. Go away, buy a book, read a book of the night while I was travelling. Learn. And then do what I could and put it into practice. So, funnily enough, I was stuck at a hostel in Melbourne, and they used to have these fitness classes on the rooftop, but the lady couldn't come in, so they knew what I was doing, so they asked me to do it. So that was technically like my first real proper experience of PTing, so I'd say professionally, and it was great. And since then, it was just like, wow, this is me. I'm here. Like, everybody here has got a smile on their face. They're moving. And yeah, it's just, I was just like really appreciative that I could do this and make people feel this way. And that's what I want to do.
Awesome. And now you're PTing full time, running your own business in Sydney?
Currently not full time. I do work in retail for like a few hours a week, but nothing major. But the rest is all PTing, because I was obviously cut it down from here because nobody knows my name. I haven't created myself as a brand, and the clients I've got are through word of mouth. I've done no marketing, no social media. It's just been through word of mouth.
And you're in you've got your own gym, or have you got, like, how are you doing it? Yeah,
so I'm hiring like a suite, so to say, and there's like 6 PTs in there. You just bring in your own clients, you organise the time between yourselves, and go through it like that. But most of it, to be honest, the summer, I'm outdoors. You don't want to be indoor. Get that vitamin D, get close to the environment, interact with it, because that's what we're made to do, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so just get I've got like TRXs, kettlebells, push sleds, just anything that's versatile that I can carry, take with me, get on a park, and get most of them doing that, because people think, oh, you've got to be really pushing the bench press to really have like an athletic body, and you don't so much. If you look at Ido Portal, if you've seen him, he has an excellent physique, really looking at movement, because I'm a big believer in the holistic side. I will never be like a bodybuilder. For one, I just don't have the genetics for it, and two, I'm not a huge fan of the massive look. Fitness, like the fitness physique that you've got, fantastic. If I get, like, that will be my goal going forth. But I think within the society that we've got today, there's too many people just sitting on their butts, aren't they? Not moving, and chairs are now the biggest killer, contributing to the diabetes, heart disease, just because people aren't moving to burn off the excess carbs, sugars, glucose. So I think if we can create an environment where people are enjoying themselves and moving without even realizing it so much, then you're on a win-win. On a win-win. Yeah.
Good. So now you're trying to create legacy through helping as many people as you can, and you obviously want to get into schools and start working with educating children. You've got big plans.
Absolutely. I've got huge plans. I mean, it's frightening how I'm going to fit it all in, really, but luckily I've still got a few connections through school life, and some people that know it here that I can get into schools. But what I really want to tackle is looking at the statistics, how the health systems run within schools, and how it should be linked within all curriculums. Why is food technology and looking at nutrition cross-reference with physical education? Why are we not using? Why are we not looking at different research papers within the health sector within English? Why? Because there is so much research out there looking at one, like the attention span, focus, concentration, potentially IQ as well, but that's limited really at the minute. In terms of people that are physically moving, can learn and interact with the work better, they're more motivated. There's just so many more benefits, and especially with people, kids with ADHD, that they need something to move. They learn better while moving. We learn better while moving, and there's just so much. But in a way, the school's a bit prison-like. sorry to say, but it needs a change. But from what I've seen out here, it's not quite as bad, but yet still the obesity rate, which you wouldn't have thought, is still skyrocketing out here. So
Really?
that needs, it's skyrocketing. Considering there's such a health and holistic ethos out here, I think it's more just because there's so much country out here, and the people in the countryside, they're farmers, they're bred that way, so they just eat their barbecue food and drink their whiskey, and they just go through life kind of like that. It's more of an education process. So it's slightly different in that way compared to the rat race that we have at home, where it's more the societal pressures and the media of the programming of our minds that are creating us the way that we are, or we're allowing them to create us the way that we are.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. I'm so excited about all these projects you've got in place and the mindset and daily actions now and the way your life's going to go. We're going to have to do another podcast maybe in 6 months' time so you can explain.
100% see where I am, yeah.
And then you can also just show people what can be done, because obviously you're still working your retail job, so I can imagine you're probably going to come away from that soon, or to do this full time.
100%. It's pretty much I don't even have to do it now if I don't want to, but I'm just one of these. I can't sit down anymore. This is the longest that I've sit down since in 2 years, I guess, really. So I like the moving. I like interacting with people, and within retail, I get that a lot. And through that, I can not judge is the wrong word, but I can make a good formal analysis of a person within 10 seconds. And it's just because I'm in these situations where I'm able to understand human behavior very, very well. And 99% of the time, I'm right. And that crosses over then to working within the PT realm, because I can tell whether somebody's lying about their nutrition or if somebody's really trying and it's just not working for them, what stresses they have, what's going on within their life that could affect them from achieving their goals. Are they really pushing themselves up? I can read all these things like that now, and I think that's actually a part of throwing myself into that situation, and I just enjoy interacting and being around people. It's great.
It's almost like putting yourself in that position to have the opportunity to learn, improve, grow. It's awesome. So I can see why you do it, definitely. And what else was I going to say?
Yeah.
So if you can judge someone in 10 seconds, how did you first judge me, and how do you judge me now?
Before, it's like there was nothing bad that I would have said about you before. It's just that now you have enhanced all the skills that you had. I mean, you could say that you were lazy, but look at everybody on that course, man. But there was no anybody looking like they were going to change the world anyway at that point, was there? So don't knock yourself there.
Thinking, I was in the back of every class on my phone the whole lecture, gambling on tennis being played in Sweden. And more often than not losing as well.
That's that rock and roll lifestyle, man.
And I used to come to every lecture late or hungover. You would never have thought I'd be this I
wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't have seen you where you are today. No, for sure at that point. But then again, I didn't have the skills that I have now. So for you, it's your confidence has grown so much. Your appreciation for the little things in life have grown. You've seen how powerful it is to help other people and what you get back from it. From what I've seen, you're a workaholic, and it's because you put yourself in a situation that what you're doing isn't really work so much. It's what you love. It's almost like what you feel that you've been made to do, because you found something that's fulfilling for you and that makes you really happy. And the big thing is what you should be most proud of is that you've taken chances, you've backed yourself, and I think that's what a lot of people miss, is that they don't back themselves, and it's a bit of a shame in that way. And you've gone for it, and you've hit gold, mate. So, well done.
Legend, mate. You have no idea how much that means. I've never really asked anyone that before, so yeah, legend. Thanks.
Not. Maybe you should.
I'm glad that people have that. Maybe I should ask people more.
You definitely should. I mean, look at the impact you're having on all these people. There's not many people that go out their way to do the things that you've done so far. And I know that you're getting paid for a lot, but then I know that the stuff that you do outside of that as well. And I mean, you create a solid life. If somebody was to look at you and see what you're doing, they'd be like, yeah, he's going places. And he's not finished. Like, this is just a start for you. This is just a start for me as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be interesting to see where you go. It is. It's hugely exciting, mate.
It's a roller coaster, but I'm going to come out and see you. Let's
do it. Book that ticket. Come tomorrow, mate. Do what I did. Get out here.
I'm pretty happy to be fair. You were like really unhappy, and you were like, I'm going to go, but
no,
it is on the agenda. I'm definitely going to do a trip. Definitely.
Yeah,
are you coming back anytime soon to visit?
Yeah, it'll probably be.
We'll do this off the recording. We'll chat a little bit off of the recording, I think. But what I am going to ask you is one more question for the podcast. I hate to interrupt.
Yes.
Okay.
Go for it, mate.
You're sat in a cafe in Sydney, and your 18-year-old self walks in to get a coffee. Do you go over and say anything to him? Do you give him any guidance? Do you go and warn him of anything? Do you give him a book to read? Like, is there anything you would do, or would you let him walk in and walk back out again without saying anything?
I'd let him walk in and walk out without saying anything. Because if I said something, it could interpret something to where I would be in a different position to now. And I wouldn't have the skills, I wouldn't have the experiences. And there's more that I'll tell you about after this. But I just feel so blessed at the position that I'm in, and that what I've been able to create and what I'm achieving and what I'm going to achieve, because I just have that belief that what I'm going to do, I'm going to get. So I just said, boy, you're going to have some rough times, but you're setting up for a good one. So enjoy whatever while you can.
Legend. And I think that's so key to people to realise, like, no matter how hard times get, embrace them, because if you do, and then, well, you're bearing the fruits of your labour, right? And I think you're in control. No matter how hard times might be, go and make a difference. Go and make a change.
Yeah, like, I wish I could like go up to everyone and just almost shake them and just be like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah,
you can be anything you want. Like, it's just that we told things that limit us, that we feel limit us, but it's just not the way. It's not the way.
It's like a huge. I feel like it's a really negative world. It's like having a conversation with yourself has like made my week. Like to speak to someone who has so much self-belief, thinks in a positive way, sees the glass as half full versus half empty.
Empty, yeah.
And then you've got all these goals, and you're like, I'm gonna go and make them happen, no matter what happens. Like, and I can feel that I have this confidence in you now that you're gonna go and do it. Whereas someone who has the glass half empty, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great, mate. Why?
So you've gone a little bit crackly.
Have I? You good now? No? Yeah,
that's better, yeah. That is better. Right. It's a bit crackly, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Legend, so you wouldn't have changed anything, you'd have gone and done it all again, and come out on the better side?
Oh, 100%. Because, I mean, you look at it like, you call me an old git or whatever, which I'm getting there, but I'm only 30. People are living to like 100. I've got another 70 years of my life, and I know I'm not going to be sometimes in a position where I'm going to be as mobile, but I've still got a hell of a long time until that comes, and I'm damn sure going to make the most of everything that this has to offer. I've got I've got some big plans in terms of like I want to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, so that's going to be something that I'm going to set up and do. And I mean, I want to do it if I can in some record time or something. I don't know. I'm going to have some silly plan. Yeah, something that's going to put Ross Sedgley to shame, maybe something like that. I don't know.
That guy's a legend, isn't he? I'm going to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's an absolute bro.
That would be awesome.
What a legend he is. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll see.
So, mate,
Exciting
we're going to
times.
do another episode soon, but where can people go to find your social media? Anywhere you want them to go and see your stuff?
Oh, well, it's not really out there yet, but it's just been created. So the first post will be going up as of either tonight or tomorrow. And that's Chris Tierney PT on Instagram. So I'm going to start there. There will be YouTube coming up. They're going to be the two social media streams that I'll use because I don't want to put a lot of effort into using a load and not doing very well. I just want to focus on a couple and really get to grips with that. And both of them are Chris Tierney PT. But obviously, go to the Instagram first, follow that, and YouTube will start up shortly within the next couple of weeks for sure.
Cool. I will put your Insta tag in the description anyway, mate. But thanks, mate. You're an absolute legend. I'm going to end the recording, and then we're going to carry on chatting because, yeah, I'm enjoying this too much.
No worries, dude. Thanks for listening, people.
Cheers, mate.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much for listening, guys and girls. And yeah, if you made it this far through all of that horrible rain noise in the background, you are a legend. I'm incredibly grateful. And the fact that people actually listen to these podcasts, to me, are still absolutely mental. But the podcast is going through the gears now and more people are listening to it, which is absolutely awesome and incredible for me. And it would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave me a review on whatever platform you listen to this on, whether it be SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, comment or whatever it might be. And also make sure you subscribe to whatever you listen to the podcast on, because that will help me grow the podcast and will help it get across to more people. Then we can share the Be More message with more people. But yeah, I think you'll all agree, Chris is a massively inspiring guy. Go and check him out on social media, keep in touch with his stuff, and I'll be back soon with the next episode of the Be More podcast. Have a great week, everyone. See you soon.